Hey guys, B here with our next First for Friday. Today we are reading We Are Not Free by Tracy Chee. And so first I'll read you all a description of the book from the inside flap, and then we will read the first 4 pages of this one. I've heard this one's really good, so I'm excited to see what the first 4 pages are like. Alright. What would you do when the only home you've ever known is taken from you? Following the attack on Pearl Harbor, 14 Japanese American teens find their lives irrevocably changed. Registration, curfew, eviction, incarceration. As World War II roars on around them, these teens must ask themselves what it means to be free Americans when their own country has imprisoned them. 14 teens who have grown up together in Japantown, San Francisco. 14 teens who form a community and a family as interconnected as they are conflicted. 14 teens whose lives are turned upside down when over 100,000 people of Japanese ancestry are removed from their homes and forced into desolate incarceration camps. In a world that seems determined to hate them, they must rally together as racism and injustice threaten to pull them apart. We Are Not Free by Tracy Chee. I really like the title spread. That's really cool. At first we have a character registration, or registry, rather. This says the names of all of the characters, it looks like, and their ages. One, we never look like us. Minnow, 14. March, 1942. It's been over 3 months since the attack on Pearl Harbor, and my oldest brother, Moss, has told me to come straight home from school each day. Take the bus, he says. No loitering around, he says. I mean it, Minnow. I used to love walking back to the apartment in the afternoons, seeing all of the interesting things going on in the city. Bodies being excavated at Calvary Cemetery, buildings going up in empty lots, chattering kids coming out of Kinmon-gakuen, the old Japanese language school. But that's been closed since last December, when it became the Civil Control Station, because Pearl Harbor changed everything for us. We have a new 8 p.m. curfew. People are starting to talk about involuntary evacuation, and Moss has warned me not to get caught out alone. Don't do anything that'll make them come down on you, he says. Don't give them any excuse. And I haven't, until today. I don't know what happened. I was walking out of George Washington High School, headed for the bus stop like always, when I saw the football team practicing on the field, racing back and forth across the grass, with the red towers of the Golden Gate Bridge rising beyond the school building like a promise. And before I knew it, I was sitting in the bleachers with my sketchbook in my hands and my butt going numb on the concrete. Oops. I'm so panicked, I gather up my sketch pad and bolt right past the bus stop, hoping to make it home before Moss gets back from work. No matter how many times I try to explain it, he never understands. Sometimes I get so wrapped up in a drawing that I get transported onto the paper, and the charcoal suspension cables and pencil players become more real to me than the bleachers or the grass or the school. And when I come back to my body, it's hours later. Everyone's gone, and I'm walking home alone as fog cascades into the bay. I know it'd be faster if I waited for a bus, but I'm afraid if I hang around at one of these stops, someone will chase me off or call me Jap, or worse. So I keep walking, and buses keep passing me while I'm between stops, and I keep thinking I should just wait at the next one, but Moss says that's my problem. There's always something going on inside my head, but I never think. My middle brother, Shig, likes to tell him it's because my head's up in the clouds, where it doesn't do me any good. I'm still walking, trying to decide if I should keep going or try waiting, when I catch sight of a flyer for Sutro baths in a drugstore window, and I stop cold. For a second, all I can think is, Moss was right. I don't think. I should have gone straight home. I should have waited for a bus. I shouldn't be out like this, because it's dangerous to be hanging around with a face like mine, 3 months into the war. It was a Sunday in December, and we were getting ready for lunch when Moss asked Shig to turn on the radio, and we all heard the news that Japan had attacked Pearl Harbor. Mom's face went taut and white as a sheet. If I was going to draw her the way she looked then, I'd draw her with thin lips and frightened eyes, pinned to a clothesline, her body flapping in the wind of a passing Nakajima B-5N bomber. We've never been allowed inside Sutro baths, but I used to draw it from the park at Land's End. The glass ceilings, the rough water, the tide-eaten cliffs. Imagining what it was like inside those glinting cupolas. The smell of salt water and wet concrete, every sound in that echoing space a slap. Now, I kind of wish the whole thing would slide into the Pacific. The ad says, "Get in trim for fighting him," and in the center there's a drawing of a Japanese soldier with diagonal slits for eyes, nostrils like watermelon seeds, and 2 big square teeth jutting out over his lower lip. I'm not a great artist or anything, but I'm a better artist than that. When I draw the people in my neighborhood, I draw them with eyes like crescent moons and kindness and red bean cakes split down the center. I draw them with real noses and regular-sized teeth. If someone is out looking for a Japanese spy and they think a Japanese spy looks like a guy from the Sutros ad, they'll never find him. After the attack, the chimneys in Japantown bloomed with smoke. In the living room, Mom dug into her trunks and began feeding heirlooms into the fireplace, starting with the Japanese flag. I remember her kneeling by the hearth, plump hands folded in her lap, watching the flames obliterate the white sky, the red sun. Next, she burned letters from relatives I'd never met. Ji Chan's Imperial Army uniform, smelling of mothballs, and a woodblock print of ancestral warriors I used to study for hours. The armor, the ferocious eyes, the wild, battle-blown hair. They looked nothing like me in my denim and button-downs. Moss tried to stop her. Some of the things she was burning belonged to Dad, but she didn't stop. "I'm not a citizen," she told him. "If they think I'm disloyal, they'll take me away like Oishi-sen." Mr. Oishi, Shig's girl Yum Yum's dad, is a businessman with contacts in Japan. The FBI whisked him away the night of the bombing like a piece of litter. He and Mom are what the government calls enemy aliens. We call them the Issei. They're the first generation of Japanese immigrants to come to the United States, but they've never been allowed to become naturalized citizens. That night, I sat on our stoop and drew the Japantown skyline with storm-colored flowers rising from the rooftops, dispersing ash like seeds on the wind. Studying my reflection in the drugstore window, I put my fingers to the corners of my eyes, pulling upward to see if I can make myself look like the guy from the flyer. I can't. Behind me, there's the sound of heels clicking on the sidewalk, and 2 white women in polo coats, hats, and little suede gloves pass, staring with round blue eyes like binocular lenses, and I remembered to keep walking. And that is the end of the first 4 pages of We Are Not Free by Tracy Chee. This book is available at the library, so you can come in and get it at any time. It's available for you right now. So, if you liked what you heard, come in and get it. Check it out. Alright, guys. So, until next time, be safe, be kind, wash your hands, and we'll see you next Friday for our next First 4 Fridays.